Yeah, they could be looking at big cuts and a lot of.
I don't think I.
Oh, that didn't sound nice. I think it's just my computer, hold on. Oh, I turned, I did.
It's pretty
picture.
Oh, there, yeah.
My daughter.
So this is not coming over now.
Says this thing now, so.
Wait, microphone Ray now.
Killing her.
Like the power extension for your cable connections. Something not connected.
I was raised to have.
Exactly. I'm having this problem.
I'm not anticipating it being a long meeting.
You're anticipated? No.
No. I just wanted to go and they're on the same page, all that kind of stuff. This is just.
Yeah, I should make that.
It's too. I'm not great with that.
It's gotta be ELA, 1 through
I'm just
up to
wondering,
3rd grade.
this one says to grade 4.
So book A, book B, those are little kids. So it should be K,
All right, so we might be able to put this through.
the grant.
I'm gonna tell you it's different. And this one,
You can put some of it through the grant.
I can
It's
tell
2
you.
or 3. I mean, we can retype it.
Let's take off the 36, so I'll split it.
Okay.
No. Under 6.
I'm gonna assume it's working.
Oh, okay. And you're recording, okay.
Yes.
You know, to cut it down by a third.
And call the meeting at 8:34. Fiscal policy. On March 13th, Wednesday.
Thank
Take it
you for the
away,
announcement.
Beverly.
Thank you for the announcement.
You're welcome.
Welcome, everybody. With the rules of conduct, the meeting will be both in person and virtual. Anyone joining this meeting virtually will generally remain on mute, except speaking or voting, will generally be keeping video of themselves turned on throughout the meeting. If anyone joining virtually creates an audio or video disruption, they may be manually ejected from the meeting upon recommendation of the chairperson running the meeting.
We've had to do that during COVID. At one point, we were like, what do they call that? Speed bomb or something.
Oh, yeah, I think you said
We're like, whoa.
We had a recent one.
We had to go click.
Right. It was in Elma.
Oh, really?
Yep, still going on.
It's still streaming. It was so weird. And then they start screaming, you're like, whoa.
When they start finding these pictures on the screen. Okay, so the first thing I'll bet is to approve the minutes from the December 13th meeting. You're on here.
It was awesome.
Yeah.
That fun day.
So we don't have a quorum, oh no, Jeff's here, so we can't vote on it. So motion to accept the minutes as presented. Jeff? Mark, you want that?
I'd love to.
No. You want me to make the motion?
We already did that.
Yeah.
That's fine. Does anybody have any changes or questions or?
Okay.
No, all in favor?
Aye.
3-0. Correspondence, we don't have any correspondence, so we'll move right into the 23-24 budget review. I'm just gonna go over it cursory, because we go through these names and go through, we'll probably talk more about it with the five pack. Just basically looking over everything, the revenues are coming in pretty much at budget or above budget. I think the tax collection rate is probably up there around 98, 99%. Right now, I'm anticipating, overall revenue, it's in the budget document, about $240,000 surplus right now. That could change depending on what's going on in the next couple of months. The ECS grant, even though, we had budgeted an extra 78,000 because we went off the original budget estimates that were given by the state. We also got a reduction because the estimates for special ed came down last year. But the good news is the net difference is an extra $38,000 to the town, so we're not losing, so that's good news. The special ed budget, because of the estimates this year, is coming in a little less at 15,000, which is okay because the ECS is up, so. We did get the revenue sharing grant, which was not anticipated by the state last year, of $161,000, which is contributing to the surplus of 240. We did, BOS has consented,
Does that mean the 240 includes that?
yes,
Okay.
yes. Because right now, I think the property tax revenue, I have to talk to Carol a little further, you know, we're way up there. We might get another $100,000, might be a little less than that, so, we'll just have to keep an eye on it, and we'll probably check with Carol before she exits.
Oh, we have a new tax collector,
Starting Monday.
Michelle.
Yes, yes.
Manis, Michelle Manis, she was the tax collector. She had spent both the assistant and full-time tax collector in Holland. So she's very seasoned.
Since we are anticipating, a revenue surplus, the board of selectmen consented that we're not gonna submit for LoSiP this year, and probably save it for next year. We might apply it to some of the engineering fees for the culverts and bridges and roads. I'm waiting for an email back from the state to confirm that we can do that, but it's not clearly defined culverts and things in their listing, so. But I think we can use it on roads, so, or we can find other items, so we're gonna hold off on that, so that's about 150, but I don't think that's gonna impact our overall numbers. And then also, which is not in the budget, I'm gonna fix that for next time. The interest we're gonna get is probably gonna be at least another $50,000, so I'm gonna make sure that's shown in this before I send it out, and then.
Did you up the interest in what we're looking at?
In the budget, yes, but not the projected, surplus variance, so I have to put that in there. Just so we have a more accurate number when we're looking at the fund balance. I looked at the town, went through the town's, expenditures. I think we're gonna see also a surplus there. I can't quite say how much, only because, part of it is the salary lines. We've had some turnover this year, so we have some savings, but then we have some new people not starting. So, and same thing with health insurance, between those two lines, there's probably gonna be a nice surplus coming in, but I can't give you a number yet, it's a little too early, so. And I think contingency, well, I know there's some transfers coming up, but I assume that there's gonna be money given back at the end of the year, barring any surprises that we need to use contingency for. But on that, pretty much everybody is within budget, anything major coming through, so, they're in good shape. The good news with the Board of Ed, their grants, they're bringing in about an extra $200,000. Barb made sure she's applying for whatever grants we can get, so we had budgeted about, what's the number, 260, we're getting about $460,000, so that's definitely gonna help with this year's budget. It's been a little tight. They did have, besides the grants, they did have turnover and unpaid leaves this year, which is helping to ease off some of the tightness of the budget this year. There is a possibility of a change in special ed again, which Barb is confirming this week. It could be an outplacement, could be still an in place with extra services, but, she's working on that. So right now, I think the budget for the Board of Ed is gonna come and say, okay, I'm not projecting any number yet. Again, it's a little early until we get some firm numbers and stuff, so. There are some items that are pending this budget season, which is the fuel pricing next year. I'm trying to get an answer from Dime, if we can lock in or fix the contract to be more fiscal instead of coming in October as a renewal.
Why don't they, respond?
I have to probably call her, she might be trying to get the information, so
Oh,
it should
okay.
be her time. So, you know, she could be looking at price and going, it's not working yet, so. So I'm waiting, I'm trying to get that, hopefully we can get that settled up. Or we have to just wait until the fall and do a short contract and a full contract, so. But fortunately this year it hasn't been overly cold, so it's not like but we do have to watch the fuel. Hopefully we're buying what we need. Another one that's coming up is the cyber policies renewals. I did adjust the budgets to bring them down based on this year's current year, so I assume we're gonna kind of keep it at the same.
We should be in good shape with all we're doing, with no.
But you never know, each year there's new regulations, so we are in good shape both sides. Melissa is doing a great job to make sure we have all the securities in place. But you never know what insurance quote is gonna come back at,
We're
so,
installing all the new backup batteries now.
yeah.
That's what we need. Those old ones used to send off an alarm, squeal all the time. We'd have to shut it down, turn it back on.
Yeah, the UPS batteries, so yeah. Well, while they're going back and forth, it's like, we have a generator, so we should be okay, but if anything, they do need a backup, but that's not quite security, but it's just an infrastructural thing, but they are definitely staying on top of it, and the cyber policies, making sure we stay within security guidelines, so we don't have to worry about it. And then, the other good news is the Kerma came back with a budget projection, which is already in there. On the liability and property policy, about a 3% flat, which is pretty much the normal. We haven't bought too much new equipment.
Usually we go.
Yes, 223, and then the workers' comp, we're keeping it status quo, so.
So there's no increase in cost.
Unless there is a major change in staffing.
Right.
So we're adding a staffing, so I don't know if that's gonna impact us a little bit, so, but that would be next year, not this year. So overall, I think that the budgets are coming in okay, the capital is in good shape, whatever projects, including American Relief Funds, are slated to get done or getting done. So again, I don't see anything major that's gonna cause a problem this year, as far as I know, other than we had to start the engineering of roads and culverts, that was it, but. Any questions on any of that? No, okay, go too bad, but. Sure. So we'll move on to the new business, which is the 24-25 budget process. On this, unfortunately, I mean, the board of selectmen had to make some adjustments on that.
Or on here and on.
Yeah, everything's in there that I have. So the board of selectmen is coming in at a 6.45% increase. I had to make some adjustments, which we're gonna make sure the board of selectmen know, to the benefits to tie it in more with the raises that are being given. That's the main thing was when I think that's been a major increase in the salary increases and the benefits this year for them. The Board of Ed, they're coming in at a 5.1% increase, or 694,933. They are in the process of negotiating 3 agreements with the unions, so there's been an adjustment up to the salaries and benefits for that. I think pretty much, Barb and over there did a good job reviewing the budget. Same thing with the town. to try to present something of their needs and nothing extra. So I know we took out numerous things, so, that takes care of that. The contingency we're keeping at 78,000. It seems to be a good number. It's a little less than 2%. The charter says no more than 2% of the budget, so we're in line with that. And I think the other thing was capital. Another percent, actually, I think it came down, overall, it came down 1.39%. Well, I think the only real new projects will be at the Board of Ed. We need some kitchen appliance replacements, a drainage project and fencing. But some of that's being offset with some projects they're closing down. The town, the normal road resurfacing, culvert engineering fees, reval, truck. I think there was a 1,000, that was for, I think, the solar. The carport, I think that's what that is. The continuing of hazardous tree removal, we're starting to fund a marine patrol boat, it's getting near its end of life, it's over 10 years old. Starting to put a lot of repairs in, and then the other one is the fire department, their normal, let's save some money for future equipment.
And the Board of Ed's capital is trying to do the drainage and that walkway with the town. To save money, so we're trying to work with that.
But the walkway, you talked about the cement walkway between the annex, that the actual cement pouring all would be subcontracted.
Right, the drainage part for that as well as.
Right. Okay, town could do the drain.
We're hoping.
I was thinking.
Yeah. Then I guess for the revenues, it does include the latest as of a couple weeks ago. All the state municipal grants in there, they are looking to stay status quo, nothing new. They are not predicting us getting the municipal revenue share again. So there's a potential. They did send out an email about the overall town increase. I think it has to be based on the something like less than 6%, or we could do CCS money, but I think right now we're kind of close or in par with that, so they haven't dinged us yet, so, it should be good, but overall, it's, you know, it's up to 5 now to review all this. So, any question? Oh, the mill rate is on the last
You have
page.
to like go through it.
No, you don't have to go through all of it, but, well, we just give you a preview if you had questions on it. Right now, the mill rate increase could be about 4 to 29.88, but then that's that cast in stone until FICAC gets through its review. Yeah, so this was just to give you, Jeff, a kind of a preview, if you have questions before next week. Next week, I guess Barb and Mark will be presenting the budget.
Is that history?
Yes, they'll be here. So if you have a flash drive, just send it over, we'll plug it in. But if there's any questions about next week, or if there's certain information you want, I can use last year's agenda as a guideline. We can go over it later after this meeting. But yeah, I think that's the budget process right now. So you'll get it by Friday. If not sooner, just
Get what by Friday? The budget?
all 3 boards will get it by Friday.
Okay, the actual.
The hard copies here, so they want to pick the hard copy. Yeah, so you have to do your cover sheet. Any questions on any of this, or about next week, or what we should plan, or who's going first? Bring popcorn. Question? No. They shall be running the show next week.
Will already be in the audience.
We don't know. We don't know. We'll be in spirit. Yeah. If there's no questions or concerns, or if there's anything, you definitely can call me if there's something on this, or we can talk about it next week. If not, we'll just move on to legislative updates. Barb or Mark have anything to report?
Legislatively, every year there's more requirements for the school. So the latest one is doing climate policy work for the Board of Ed. In addition, the Board of Ed's attorney just sent us the latest and updated mandated trainings that all staff have to complete.
For climate?
Climate, it was a legislative legislation that was passed. Additionally, after climate, our attorney updated me with, I think it's 33 pages of mandated trainings that have to be.
But is this curriculum of climate for the children?
It's policy, so it will include curriculum, but it also includes, bullying and updating that policy. And so it's more than just curriculum, policies on how you handle any issue with that, so.
Okay. There's rumors that the legislation is trying to sneak back in banning gasoline cars by 2035, which still baffles me. It's just so dumb. Without the infrastructure and everything needed to actually go forward. But I haven't heard a whole lot else of anything that really might happen. I know some good things. What was the one that we were in favor of? Blanking out. I just told the Board of Selectmen about this. I can't remember. It had to do with something on the town government side. It was a positive that we were trying to legislatively enact.
The other rumor for education is that the Connecticut is going to repeal that new kindergarten legislation. They keep going back and forth. Up until 24-25 school year, you had to turn 5 on or before the end of a calendar year. So beginning next year, they've changed that. You have to be turned 5 on or before September 1st. So anyone born September 2nd through the rest of the year is not eligible for kindergarten. And there's been a bit of an uproar because people had planned for that. So there's a rumor that they may repeal it. We'll see. We'll see. We have, right now this year, there's a waiver process that families can do if they want their child. We don't have a lot of people requesting the waiver. And teachers are happy with this legislation just because there's a big difference when you're 4.5 versus 5 developmentally. So, we'll see.
Good. Have you heard anything else, Jeff? It's pending in legislation?
Yeah. Yep, I haven't been paying that much attention. So,
Okay, the finance department, we have anything else on the? Nope, okay. So on finance department, the audit, I think, is finally signed, whatever. There was a couple more questions this past week, like, there's any significant events that I need to report? No. So I think it's finally done. The audit has been filed as of February 29th. The hard copies arrived yesterday, so I'll get them out to all the board packets. This week I'll get you a hard copy, you'll get a hard copy. Along with the budget document, I'll email a copy of the report so everybody can have it. They want to read it online, otherwise make sure they don't have to print the 90 pages. Fortunately, it was a clean audit again. Yay. So then, in a couple months, we'll be starting the audit process again. The workers' comp audits have been filed, just waiting for Kermit to go through it, but again, it's a neutral increase, so I don't think they just basically verify that, well, the payroll to what they project for next year for the renewal, so it's not a big deal. The process has kind of started too. Our old accounting system is going away, the company was sold. So in the next couple months, or I have to go over a couple things with you. We'll be moving from the MSI to what's called G-Works. It's an online up in the cloud software. I've got a little preview on it. It doesn't look like it'll be a difficult transition. It's just making sure they get our data in there. I think they want to get it in sooner before the year end, so we'll see. I asked him if there's a way I can make sure to mirror it, just make sure we're not losing anything. And so we can kind of keep access to the old data, so it's a process. And of course, they have other services. I'll go over to do if you'd like. And
Oh, I know, since what triggered my memory, when you talk about being audited, we had a surprise visit by OSHA, the town, so they inspected all town facilities. They did not do the fire department or the board of that, or the school. And it was painstakingly detailed, to the point of measuring how high up a vent was in the janitor's closet, so it needs a cover because it's below 7 feet. In a closet that is only used by. for
Why?
supplies.
Because of for safety, they're
Yeah.
saying?
Can't stick your finger in the thing. But that's how detailed it was. I'm hoping, I don't know if it'll be fines. He said, we fixed most of the things he discovered as he would point them out, which was good. I found out that the fire marshal has different rules than OSHA, so I do have to put exit signs in the new public works building, where the fire marshal didn't require. Such a low building, it'd be like putting exit signs in here. But,
No smoking signs too.
no, I didn't get that.
Really? Fire
Yeah.
marshals in Windermere.
They want no smoking.
No smoking signs in common parks.
So I'm hoping there won't be fines. I'll find out tomorrow. We're having a pre-audit meeting with both facilities and public works. My recommendation to you, Barbara, is you do a voluntary request for OSHA to come into the school.
I don't know if they were.
I'm a little scared.
They'll come in, if you bring them in voluntarily, they'll do a full inspection and they cannot fine you. Then you can fix whatever they find. But if they come in unannounced, there could be penalties. That's what I'll find out tomorrow.
Do you have a guy's contact? We should just say, "Hey."
Yeah, I'll get to you how to do that.
Yes, I don't think they've, as far as I know, they've ever come to the school. So,
No, and I had the fire department did a voluntary, we did voluntary twice since I've been here. But that was 2 years ago, so they're
Nope.
on their
That's
circuit
2
again.
years ago? Wow.
for voluntary.
And they found issues between now and 2, wow, that's.
they weren't major. I think.
No.
Some extension cords that should have been thrown away. It was some. I
We
think,
would- Anything they found, we would cut the cords in half. They're a big stickler on cords. If you have extension cords in the school, they flip out on
I have
extension
my
cords.
own space here. But they're cold.
I don't know if they live in the depths of the.
But sure.
But it's,
But he was good. You said he was good because he worked with.
he worked with us and he was staring at 2 extension cords in the works garage. And the foreman said, why don't I just cut those in half right now? He goes, that'd be a good idea.
Yeah, they'd rather work with you than get.
Right.
With all that, so.
So hopefully I'm still smiling tomorrow.
Yeah.
No,
I think if it was bad, he would have told you, so.
I don't know, he was pretty close mouth on, he took a lot of notes.
What are you reading then?
So that's all I have.
Okay. Anything else anybody want to discuss for?
Where are we with the air conditioning?
So where we are is there, so that the company we hired at Silver Petroselli has been now, we've requested them to come to every meeting because it seemed like it was a little draggy. So we just had somebody, they're deciding whether they should hire a clerk of the works or a project manager. So that's the latest. The next meeting, I believe, is it next week? We're meeting like every 2 weeks, so.
We had a project manager actually present to us last Monday, for this.
Right.
Whenever,
Last week.
yeah. last-
Right, one of the other big debates besides that is, should they pre-order equipment?
Cause it's over a year. to get
60
electric-
months.
Electric
They were
equipment,
saying.
way over a year.
Okay.
That seems crazy to me, that.
Wait, you've got the gas station up in Marlboro, but they can't get gas pumps.
Oh, is that why they're so
That's
slow?
why it's not
Yeah,
in.
yeah,
No kidding.
they can't get their pumps.
I just
I'm
don't
wondering.
understand these supply shortages is
I know,
still
I
happening.
know. But yeah, so that's where they are. So we were hoping that we would be already going out to bid for the electric part, but we're not there yet. And so, and like, again, like the big debate is, do you order the electrical equipment based on what somebody's saying? Or do you wait till you have the folks who are gonna do the work? 'Cause, you know, like what if they don't like what you ordered or,
Mhm.
so, I don't know, Mike Sylvester is really, thank God for him because he knows that building like the back of his hand, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm hoping we'll hear something within a month,
Right, for the
by
grant.
the end of April at the latest, cause I sent them out and I said not before mid-April, so. Going through 139 or so applications that they need a little time, so hopefully, this is good news at this point, but. I think they know that, there's a lot of towns waiting, but, I think a decision's gonna have to be made, whether we get the grant or not, what's the next step. Especially if we wanna get the electrical done.
Right, and I don't know that, we were hopeful that it would happen this summer, but Mike isn't as optimistic.
No, cause if you. Takes about, what, 6 weeks, a month, 6 weeks to get through the bid process,
Oh,
Right.
and then to order the stuff and
Well,
get
and to order the major stuff, could take till next year.
Yeah, so, and I think depending. If we get the grant, I think if you're talking to the state, I think they realize that there's a holdup, so I thought there was, but there is another round, so I assume. They're gonna have to work that into whether they're gonna give extensions on whoever gets awarded. So,
Right, and there, he said 60 weeks to get equipment, that was like,
well, we're still, the generator's in, but just hasn't been installed, that took us over a year,
Oh, at the senior center.
yeah.
Right.
More than a year, what, about 14, 15 months,
Hmm.
to get that, 15 months. So, not surprised, even trucks, we can't get a truck.
I mean, we already ordered the dump truck because they're over a year out on dump trucks. We waited 2 years for the one we still don't have.
That should be coming in next month.
No, I think the body's
The body's
coming in
coming.
next month, then they have to put the
I see.
chassis in, or the chassis coming in and then put the body.
Exciting. Okay, anything else? I will say though that this is probably gonna have to be a discussion point during this budget season because this budget does not include financing. So we have to keep that in our mind because
Right.
definitely short term and also going up for a bond, if we're going to bond, so. We'll probably have to take that into account, especially because that means we'll need a fund balance or something, which is down to, based on what I looked at, it could be, or I had it around 14, it could be a little lower. Depending on how the numbers go the rest of this year, so, which is on the low side for us, so. Okay, anything else? If not, motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
I'll second that at 9:05.
See you on April 10th, if not definitely, at 5 o'clock.
next week.
Next week.